At the beginning of the 20th century, one man transformed the way the world worked, traveled, and lived. Henry Ford was not just an inventor, he was a revolutionary of industry. In 1903, he founded the Ford Motor Company, a company that would soon dominate the global automobile market. Ford's greatest innovation was not the car itself, but the system that built it. With the moving assembly line introduced in 1913, automobiles could be produced faster and cheaper than ever before. What was once a luxury for the wealthy suddenly became accessible to ordinary people. The Model T became a symbol of modern progress. Millions admired Ford. He paid factory workers a then unheard-of wage of $5 a day and promised a future where technology would improve everyday life. But behind this revolutionary success was a personality that many found deeply troubling. Ford believed he had a mission beyond manufacturing cars. He wanted to reshape society according to his own beliefs. As his influence grew, so did his willingness to use it. And the same man who democratized transportation would soon use his wealth and power to spread ideas that shocked even many of his supporters. The industrial hero the world celebrated had another side, one that history would struggle to reconcile with his achievements. Henry Ford didn't just want to build cars, he wanted to shape the lives of the people who built them. Inside Ford factories, efficiency ruled everything. Workers repeated the same movements thousands of times a day on the assembly line. Productivity skyrocketed, but the work became exhausting and mechanical. Many employees described the job as physically and mentally draining. Ford believed discipline created a better society. Through the company's sociological department, investigators visited workers' homes to monitor how they lived. They checked hygiene, family behavior, and even spending habits. To receive the famous $5 daily wage, employees had to meet Ford's strict moral standards. Critics argued that Ford wasn't just an industrialist, he was trying to engineer human behavior. While he publicly promoted higher wages and worker prosperity, he was also fiercely anti-union. When labor organizers attempted to unionize Ford factories, they faced intimidation and violence from company security forces. Ford claimed he was protecting efficiency and stability. But to many observers, the system looked less like industrial progress and more like corporate control. The man who promised freedom through technology seemed increasingly comfortable controlling the people who made his empire.
Henry Ford didn't just want to build cars. He wanted to shape the lives of the people who built them. Inside Ford factories, efficiency ruled everything. Workers repeated the same movements thousands of times a day on the assembly line. Productivity skyrocketed, but the work became exhausting and mechanical. Many employees described the job as physically and mentally draining. Ford believed discipline created a better society. Through the company's sociological department, investigators visited workers' homes to monitor how they lived. They checked hygiene, family behavior, and even spending habits. To receive the famous $5 daily wage, employees had to meet Ford's strict moral standards. Critics argued that Ford wasn't just an industrialist, he was trying to engineer human behavior. While he publicly promoted higher wages and worker prosperity, he was also fiercely anti-union. When labor organizers attempted to unionize Ford factories, they faced intimidation and violence from company security forces. Ford claimed he was protecting efficiency and stability, but to many observers, the system looked less like industrial progress and more like corporate control. The man who promised freedom through technology seemed increasingly comfortable controlling the people who made his empire possible. Henry Ford's reputation reached far beyond the United States. His industrial methods were studied around the world, and leaders everywhere admired the efficiency of his factories. But some admirers were particularly troubling. Among them was Adolf Hitler. Hitler openly praised Ford in his writings and even kept Ford's portrait in his office. Nazi propaganda often celebrated Ford as an example of industrial genius. In 1938, the German government awarded Ford the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, one of the highest honors given to foreigners by the Nazi regime. Ford accepted the medal. Defenders later argued that Ford was primarily a businessman and that many industrial leaders maintained international relationships during that period. Critics saw it differently. To them, Ford's acceptance of the award symbolized the dangerous intersection between industrial power and political extremism. By then, the image of Henry Ford had become deeply divided. To some, he remained the visionary who put the world on wheels. To others, he represented the unsettling reality that great innovation can coexist with deeply troubling beliefs.
Henry Ford died in 1947, leaving behind one of the most powerful industrial legacies in history. His innovations reshaped manufacturing forever. The assembly line he perfected became the foundation of modern mass production. Entire industries adopted his methods. The world moved faster because of him. Yet his legacy remains complicated. Historians still debate how to balance Ford's achievements with the darker chapters of his life. He helped create economic opportunity for millions of workers, but he also spread ideas that fueled prejudice and division. Few figures in modern history embody such stark contradictions. Henry Ford proved that technological genius does not guarantee moral clarity. A man capable of transforming the global economy was also capable of promoting dangerous beliefs that echoed far beyond his factories. Today, his name still represents innovation, but behind the success story lies a reminder that progress and controversy often grow side by side. Understanding history means confronting both. And in the case of Henry Ford, the full story is far more complex than the legend.